so much. On one hand, you got the wheat growing up, and on the other hand, you've got the tare growing up. And wouldn't it be nice that we could just have a wheat moment without the tare moment? Wouldn't it be nice that we could just put the enemy on freeze sometimes and let him know, let me do this before you do that? Wouldn't it be nice that we don't have to always go through hell and tell the enemy, let me grow to the point that I'm trying to grow through before you start meddling in my fast? But God says it don't always work like that. He says, I want you to see something in this passage. He says, I want you to see that I commanded that the wheat and the tare grow up together. In other words, God gave me the revelation. He says, I want you to see that I put a chain between the wheat and the tare. That chain that I put between the wheat and the tare says they are inextricably linked. They are inextricably intertwined. You can't have one without the other. The wheat and the tare is like salt and pepper. It's like bishop and lady. It's like bread of life and a church that will change your life. They are inextricably linked. And God says you must have one in order to have the other, because the wheat cannot be all that it's supposed to be without the tare. Say, God, what do you want us to see here? He says, I brought them up together because I want you to, don't expect trouble to hide from you just because you're growing. Ain't nobody talking back to me. Don't expect trouble. He said, one way to know that you're growing is that when trouble shows up in your life. One way to know that I'm taking you to a new level is when you have to deal with it. Let me take it to you another way, because you need to see it here. Whenever you make a commitment not to stay on the same level you're in, chains of tare will always happen in your life. You can set your clock by tick, 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 tock. When you start growing and moving, something stupid will come out of nowhere. You can set your clock by tick, 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 tick. When you start making an effort to grow to another level, you'll find that accusation will start coming out of nowhere. When you make a decision to move, the enemy will hit you with some trauma out of the clear blue nowhere, just to let you know that I don't like what the Lord is doing in your life. It's a sign. Touch somebody next to you and tell them, it's a sign. It's a sign. There is no chain for anything that's not growing.